you go. Hello. There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's Taco Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. It's Taco Tuesday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. You know what time it is. It's Taco Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Taco Tuesday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on one second. One second. Let me just get everything all set up. But how's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are making lots of money. Hope you guys are making lots of money. Hope you guys are doing well. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys had a wonderful Monday. All right. I think I had a wonderful Monday. That's for sure. I got to spend time with you guys. I got to spend time with the family. Got to spend time with everybody. Yes. Could never go wrong. Hold on one second. Let me just upload this real quick. There we go. Beautiful. All right, all right, all right. So, let's see what we got going on here, ladies and gentlemen. What do we have going on? All right. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. One second, one second. You want to know what's funny, ladies and gentlemen? Because while I'm sharing the stream, you know what's trending on X? It says "Happy Birthday, Nick." I'm like, it ain't my birthday, but I appreciate it, I guess. I don't know whose birthday it is, but I guess if there's a Nick out there whose birthday it is, man, happy birthday, I guess. That's actually funny. That is funny. Bobo Beef says, howdy, howdy, Bobo. He says, here in your Lima Charlie, copy that, Bobo. I mean, it's not my birthday, but I appreciate the gesture anyway. All right. Hold on one second. Let me just get this over here. All right, beautiful. Let me make sure that Twitch is working. Is Twitch good? Yes. Facebook. We live on Facebook. All right. All right, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking a look at XOS. XOS, the stock ran up a nice 144%. 144%, ladies and gentlemen, 144%. One second. I had to stretch, and I stretched, and then I hit the, there we go. Oh, that's the good stuff. Yes, 144% on XOS. Called that stock earlier in the morning prior to its run. Bobo Beeps put out a bunch of birthday emojis. Bobo, it's not my birthday. I don't know why Twitter just assumed it was. I appreciate it, but it's not my birthday though. Coach, it ain't your birthday either. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't get it. Marty says, good morning, Banger Nation, Doubles and Bobo. Good morning, Marty. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I love how that's just trending. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. I appreciate it, Twitter, I guess. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, X. I do. All right. So we got a couple things going on today. All right. We got a couple things going on today. Give me 1 second. Whoever is Nick and whoever's birthday it is, man. I guess happy birthday. I don't know. I don't know what to say there. All right. Bold View says, "What's up, Marty?" Yeah. All right. All right, all right, all right. So let's just go over XOS real quick while I share the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go over XOS while I share the stream. Okay, so XOS as of now, currently up 114%. Was up a nice, beautiful 144%. Nick on Facebook says hello, Double Nicks. Hello, hello. Hello, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Hello. All right. So XOS had a movement up 144% throughout the entire day today. All right, had a nice movement going on right there. All right, had a bit of a shot upward early in the morning. Has had a small ABCD pattern that went into a pennant that then went into a little bit of an uptrend. It was like more of a descending wedge, really. And then after that, went into a bit of an uptrend that formed into another descending wedge. But it needs to break the VWAP at $4.48. $4.48, ladies and gentlemen, for it to really be somewhat schmexy to me. That's what it's got going on there. Otherwise, it's just not that schmexy to me. Now, XOS did have some news, ladies and gentlemen, that it actually had... Hold on, let me just copy this here. It actually had an Air Force contract. So they had a contract with the Air Force to make a prototype or something. All right. Now, this prototype, if we look at the news, for this stock right here, this prototype actually had a prototype contract with the U.S. Air Force to develop and deliver a deployable mobile charging station. Right. So that's what they got going on right there. As of now, this is what they have. All right, these guys are a electric commercial vehicle and energy infrastructure company that makes battery electric trucks, mobile EV charging systems, and fleet management technology. So they make all sorts of stuff like that. So now they got a contract with the U.S. Air Force. All right, so I mean, that's excellent. That is excellent for them. That is excellent news for them. And that's pretty much why it ran up 144%. Very, very good news, too, because it's a government contract right there. That's excellent. All right. So let me just put this over here. All right. Let me just put this right over here. All right. Let me just share this up all over the place here so I can get the announcements out for everybody. All right. But yeah, that's what we got for XOS. XOS. This stock is moving and grooving, ladies and gentlemen. It is moving and grooving. All right. All right, all right, all right. AB on X wrote, I was up 30% on XOS an hour ago. Ah, FFS. Don't worry too much about it, brother. As long as you were up and as long as you made your money, hey, that's nothing to scoff about. You know what I mean? Nothing to be upset about. All right? As long as you make money. Making money is number one and paramount. You don't have to get FOMO. You don't have to get none of that because that just leads to mistakes. You know what I mean? At least in my opinion. All right? So, as long as you made your money, AB. As long as you made your money, that's it, man. That's all you got to do. Just make your money. Make your money. Everything else will figure itself out. You know what I mean? You know, as long as money has been made and money is in your pocket, hey, I call that a win. You know what I mean? A win's a win's a win. All right. You know, there's always going to be another stock out there. You know what I mean? There's always going to be another stock. AB says I held them, we're back down, needed to rally back up. Oh, okay, all right. I see, man. It's okay. It's all right. No worries, ladies and gentlemen. No worries, AB. No worries, brother. You know, just gotta keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? You know, me personally, I try to salvage what I can, and that's it. You know, that's what I do. Me personally. So, good luck, brother. I do wish you the best of luck, though, on that, AB. I do wish you the best of luck. I hope that you make your money. I hope you make lots of money. And I hope, yeah, I hope you make lots of money. XOS right now, currently trying to curl off that little descending wedge right there. Hold on one second. Let me actually get this over here. Let me get all right. So like I said earlier, it formed a bit of an A to B, B to C, C to D right here. And then it formed a bit of a descending wedge right over here. Now it curled its way on up off that descending wedge right over here before eventually hitting a descending wedge right over here. Alright, now it needs to break above that descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Otherwise, It fell below the view up at 448 and proceeds to curl its way back up. ABS expectations at market open looks like it's reacting well at 4.5. I mean, we'll see. I mean, as far as market open is concerned, I don't exactly know because market open is like an hour from now. So it really depends on the stock's movement. It really depends on the stock. If it could break above that descending wedge and curl its way on up, that would be particularly ideal. I don't know because most of these stocks don't exactly live in the void, right? So by any point, at any point, most of these stocks can basically just curl their way on up. You know what I mean? They curl their way on up, and that's it. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, these stocks can basically curl up. They could break above the descending wedge, or they might break down and fall below the VWAP. It really depends. It has to hold above the VWAP for it to really be interesting to me. Right now, it's holding above the VWAP at 448, but at the same time, it's really like testing that VWAP, so it has to hold above it for it to be somewhat interesting to me, and has to break above that descending wedge. And I'm actually going to put some levels here. All right, I'm actually going to put some levels here while I'm here. Boop, right there. All right. Has to hold above that VWAP at 448, has to break above 460, and then has to break above the high of day at 538 for it to be somewhat interesting to me. Otherwise, not exactly interesting. You know what I mean? It's one of those stocks right there. So let me just finish up putting these announcements out, and then after that, we will get started. But I will put this over here. Hold on. XOS. We called the stock on our private pre-market, okay, actually private Discord, prior to its run up 144%, needs to break the descending wedge and hold above the VWAPA at 448. Needs to break the resistance line at $4.60. That is the first resistance line for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Otherwise, has to break above that $4.60 line right there and has to hold above the VWAP at 448. It's currently at 450, so we'll see what happens. It is sort of respecting the VWAP as of now. We'll see what goes on, though. Bless you, Coach. All right. And that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on right there. Hold on one second. Let me just get this shared up over here. Let's share it up, share it up, share it up, share it up. Right there. There we go. All right. Hold on one second. One second. All right, all right, all right. All right. Just put this over here. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. Bumblebee says I sniped XOS 3 times and caught pops in SGLY, PFSA, TRUG, WFF, and SXTC. Snipe, snipe, baby. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Snipe, snipe, baby. That's the way I see it. Hold on one second. Let me just put this over here. Let me just announce this real quick. Boom. Right. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, as of now, XOS has had a lot of good movement that went on there. All right, currently it's up $4.56. Has to break above 460, which is the resistance line right there, for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. And then once it breaks 460, it has to break above 538, which is the high of day, for it to really be schmexy to me. But first step is to hold above 448 and for it to break above 460, which it does. It broke above 460. All right, now it needs to hold above 460. It really needs to hold above that 460 mark, break above that descending wedge, and break through 538, which would make it really, really schmexy to me. So as of now, has to hold above that 460 line right there. Has to hold above it. It's currently 458. It peaked above 460 a couple times, but for me, it really has to break above that area, ladies and gentlemen. That's really what it has to do for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. There we go. 1 second. 1 second. Let me just put this over here. All right. All right. All right. All right. There we are. There we are. Beautiful. All right. Give me 1 second over here. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Bo Beeves asks for SGLY. Yes, good, good, good. We will take a look in just a second. Let me just take a look over here. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely get in your requests. Get your requests in as to what you'd like to see us check out, and we will check it out, ladies and gentlemen. We will check it out. All right, all right, all right. Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 200, 200, 200, 200. All right. Let's get this over here. All right. So, XOS. XOS needs to break the descending wedge. All right, we're going to put this over here. Hold on. And right over here. XOS needs volume to break the descending wedge and needs to hold above the $4.60 line, needs to break the high of day at $5.38 for it to be schmexy to me. There we go. All right. Now, Bobo Beef said he sniped XOS 3 times, caught pops in SGLY, so we're going to take a look at SGLY. SGLY. Now, SGLY, all right, if memory serves me correct, and normally it does, hold on. We actually did call this stock earlier in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, earlier in the morning. All right, let's see here. SGLY. As a matter of fact, yes, we did. We called the stock prior to its run up 106%. 106%. We called the stock actually yesterday at 5:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then earlier this morning at 4:03 a.m. Eastern Standard Time prior to its run up 106%. So we got that going on right there. SGLY, SGLY. We called this stock on the private Discord yesterday and early this morning at 4:03 a.m. Eastern Standard Time prior to its run up 106% right there. 106%. Presenta. There we go. All right. And it needs volume to break this pennant that it formed right here, which it does. It broke the pennant and now looks to be curling above the VWAP right over here. Needs to actually break that VWAP at $7.31. All right. Needs volume to break the VWAP after that curl off the pennant. Needs to break the VWAP at $7.31 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. That's really what it has to be right there. That's what it has to do right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. There we go. All right, let me just put this over here. Boink, right there. All right. Beautiful. All right, so that's what we got going on. That is SGLY. SGLY needs to break above that pennant at $7.31. It's currently above it right now. Needs to hold above that VWAP at $7.31. Has to break. It broke the pennant. Has to hold above that VWAP right there, though. That is the big kahuna. That is the big thing that, honestly, that I'm more concerned about right there. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 200, 200, 200, 200. Let's take a look at the other stocks that Bobo requested here. PFSA, PFSA. Let's take a look at that one. PFSA currently up 101%. PFSA. Now, PFSA was another stock that we called early in the morning as well as yesterday. We called the stock yesterday. This stock was called at 9:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday prior to its run. All right, it did have a small run. It didn't really move much. Actually, it did move a little bit. It ran up 114% yesterday, and then it was called this morning at 4:12 a.m. prior to its run, up 178% right there. So PFSA, PFSA right there. That was another one that was called yesterday and today. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, all right, be sure to check out our free Discord. This is our free Discord to actually see the Discord exclusive live stream as well as the occasional Discord exclusive picks over here. All right, link to join us in the description down below as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen. But this is the free Discord. It gives you a taste, a little preview of what we got going on in the premium stuff. So basically what you get in this one is a Discord exclusive live stream that's free. All right, you get that one right there, but you also get access to the free alerts. Yeah, you get the occasional free alerts, and to top it off, the occasional stock review. Yeah, the stock review. Yeah, we give out a free stock review and breakdown on occasion, so we do that. So be sure to check that out. Join the free Discord, get your free roll, and yeah, get to see the Discord exclusive live streams, picks, and reviews right there. All the touch of a button, ladies and gentlemen. All at the touch of a button. Now, if you guys want access to the 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99 to get the full package right there, the full yabangi, if you will, right? All right, the full thing, right? The link to join the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99 is in the description down below for the first 4 days. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comments section, so be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. That's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Hold on. Let me just pin that real quick. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go. All right. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we got all sorts of cool merch as well, so be sure to check that out. We got all sorts of wonderful things going from T-shirts to hoodies to hats. We got lids. We got cup and handles. When I say cup and handles, I mean we got mugs. We've got tumblers. We've got mouse pads. We got stickers. All sorts of cool stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to check it out. Be sure to check out that merch. Buy some swag for yourself and support the community, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right, now let's continue on with PFSA. All right, PFSA. PFSA was called yesterday. All right, so let me put this up here. PFSA. We called this stock on our private Discord. All right, this was for the premium Discord. We called this one off for our private premium Discord yesterday and this morning at, what time was it? Oh, yes, 4:02 a.m. 4:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time prior to its run up 178%, 178%. There we go. So that's what we got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on right there. PFSA needs to break the VWAP, ladies and gentlemen. It has to break the VWAP because it formed a bit of a pennant right over here. All right. Formed a bit of a pennant right over here. Needs to break the pennant and the VWAP at, all right, thank you, Coach. All right, at $10.19, $10.19 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mia. That's PFSA, PFSA. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's PFSA right there. All right, hold on, hold on, hold on. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. So, there we are, there we are. All right. All right, that's PFSA, PFSA. AB says XOS breaking out of the wedge. Let's take a look and see. XOS. Let's take a look and see if XOS is actually breaking out of that wedge. It's testing it. It's testing it. Has to hold above 460 and really needs to break above that descending wedge right there. XOS. XOS is testing the wedge, though. I will give it that. XOS testing the descending wedge. Needs volume to break, to hold above the 460 support line and break the, actually it needs to break above the 460 resistance line right now. It's a resistance line still to me. As of now, it's not a support line just yet. All right, and needs to break the high a day at $5.38 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Nya. Has to do that, ladies and gentlemen. That's XOS right there. XOS. All right, let's take a look and see about the other stonks here. Hold on. Bobo Beebs requested. Hold on. TRUG. TRUG. So let's take a look at TRUG right here. This is True Golf Holdings Inc. Now, this stock is on a bit of a downtrend now. Little bit of a downtrend right here. Take a look. Boom. Right there. Has to break this downtrend. Has to break the VWAP. Has to break the $2.08 mark right there. Now, TRUG was, well, it did move up a little bit, but honestly, TRUG, this stock, yeah, it pulled back quite a bit. It did pull back quite a bit. As of now, needs to break the downtrend and needs to break above this VWAP at $2.08. That's TRUG. TRUG, all right. So as of now, TRUG, it did have its time in the sun for a time, but needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA at $2.08 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. That's TRUG. TRUG. Let's take a look at WFF. WFF did have some movement yesterday. All right, looks like it's kind of consolidating its way on around now, so it's kind of consolidated just below the VWAP right there. Consolidated below the VWAP. It did have a downtrend, then tried to curl up a little bit, but all it did really was just form a consolidation right over here. Needs to break above the VWAP at $2.58 now. $2.58. for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. WFF curled off the downtrend, but is consolidated below the VWAPA at $2.58. $2.58. There we go. There we go. All right, let's see what else you got. SXTC. SXTC as of now, this is a China stock. This is China SXT Pharmaceuticals Inc. up 34% as of now. Did have a movement up before pulling back down over here, and now it's consolidated below the VWAP at $5.20. All right, SXTC needs volume to break the consolidation below the VWAPA at $5.20. $5.20. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, all right, all right. Okay. All right. There we go. PFSA. PFSA. PFSA, as of now, still needs to break that descending wedge and still needs to break the $10.18 resistance line right there. This stock has some unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 14 days from now on to September 1st before the market opens. So they got that going on right there. It is consolidated below the VWAP as of now. Still consolidated below the VWAP, so we'll see what goes on there. All right, but at PFSA needs more volume to break the pennant and the VWAP at $10.17 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mia. There we go. There we go. All right, that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 400. 400, 400, 400. Hold on one second. What's going on here? Someone requested BIAF. BIAF. Let's see how BIAF is doing. BIAF is on an uptrend right now. On a bit of an uptrend right now, but let's take a look over here. 8 million float, 86 million volume. That is good. All right, and is on an uptrend right now. So BIAF on the uptrend right now, up 56%. We got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. BIAF on the uptrend, up 56%. Broke the VWAP and needs to break above. Hold on. Let's get the support and resistance lines right over here. It needs to break above the high of day at 62 cents. The high of day at 62 cents for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mia. So it has to break that 62-cent mark right there. Has to break 62 cents for it to really be schmexy to Mia. There we go. There we go. But it does have the float. It has the volume. BIAF, that is what we got going on. Can it curl? Can it continue to climb? We shall see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on one second. 1 second. Alright, hold on, hold on. Yeah, no, just gotta make sure everything's copacetic on X here. Give me 1 second. Yes. Hold on. Alright, give me 1 second, 1 second. XOS. Let me take a look over here. It's doing that glitch thing. Give me a second. There we go. Hold on one sec. Let me just put this here. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. So, XOS currently holding above the $4.60 line right there. Needs to really hold above it right there. XOS currently holding above the $4.60 mark right there. Line needs to break above the high day at $5.38 for it to be so much maxi to mia. There we go. There we go. All right, let's see if that works right there. There we go. All right. All right. There we are. Beautiful. Okay. BIAF, how's it holding up? BIAF, pulling back a little bit, has a bit of a resistance formed right over here at the 62-cent mark right there. All right, BIAF formed a resistance at 62 cents. 62 cents right there. Needs to break that high of day for it to be so much maxi to mia. Alright, that's BIAF. BIAF right there. Alright. Beautiful. Okay. So, that's what we got going on right there. Let's take a look at some of the requests that we got going on. Hold on one second. Let me get the requests up here. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me get some of these requests because we just got some requests here. Hold on. Hold on right there. Hold on. Hold on. Alright. Alright, let's take a look at some of these requests here. SXTC, alright. Someone requested SXTC. Let's take a look at it. SXTC, alright, had a bit of a pull upwards and then proceeded to drop back down. Again, SXTC was one of those stocks where, hold on, it had a movement up right here and then it just pulled its way back down. Alright, and formed a bit of a resistance right over here at the $6.07 mark right there, but then fell back down, popped up, dropped down, and then proceeded to basically just get consolidated just below the VWAP right there. So not entirely schmexy to me. SXTC as of now. SXTC needs volume to break the descending wedge and the VWAP at $5.19. There we go. For it to be somewhat schmexy to mia. There we go. There we go. Alright. XOS was another one that was requested. Right? We'll take a look at it. Let's take a look. Alright. Curling its way on up off the descending wedge just a little bit. Slight curl off the descending wedge. We'll see what happens. XOS. Slight. Alright. Slight curl off the descending wedge. XOS, slight curl off the descending wedge. There we go. There we go. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Hold on, hold on. Alright. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Alright. Next up, someone requested TRUG. TRUG. Alright. TRUG still on that downtrend, needs to break above $2.08. TRUG still on the downtrend and needs to break above the VWAP at $2.08 for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. There we go. There we go. Alright, what else is there in the requests? Abdul Rahman asks, WETO, he go to $60, WETO? WETO is currently at $42 and change and is going downward right now. Looks like it's forming a slight descending wedge right over here. That's really what it's got going on. But as of now, the stock is not exactly too interesting. It's currently up 69%. And it is currently very expensive. Needs to break the descending wedge, but also needs to break the VWAP at 41.77 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. So it's got to break above that VWAP right there. All right, and it looks like it's peaking above it slightly, but it needs to break the descending wedge primarily, as well as that VWAP at 41.77. So we'll see what happens with this WETO. WETO. It had some movement yesterday. All right, expensive stock. Alright, needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAP at 41.77 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. But right now it needs to really break that descending wedge. That is the first thing it has to do, and break above the VWAP and hold above that VWAP. It has to hold above the VWAP too. So we'll see what happens right there. Bobo Beef says the market right now. Yeah, Bobo, no worries. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. Let's see here. All right. So. All right. IVF. IVF. Abdul Rahman says thanks. Of course, Abdul. All right. As of now, IVF is currently consolidated along the VWAP, needs volume. IVF currently consolidated along the VWAP, needs volume. Along the VWAP at $1.48. Needs volume to break and hold above it. That's IVF right there. IVF. Someone requested TTAI. TTAI. Let's take a look at it. TTAI. No data for TTAI. Yeah, no. Nope. TTAI don't even exist. Alright, AUD. AUD. Yep. Let's get this over here. Choppy. Price action right over here. Take a look. See all these indecisive wicks? That's choppiness right there. Indecisive wicks over here. Consolidation and indecisive wicks over here. And over here. A lot of choppiness going on with the stock. So, not very schmexy. Choppy as heck right now. AUD. AUD. Choppy. With low volume and indecisive wicks. The stock is kind of trash right now. Needs volume to break the indecisive wicks. Consolidation and VWAP at 107. All right. It's going to need a lot there, ladies and gentlemen. That's AUUD. AUUD not looking schmexy at all to me. All right. PFSA. Someone requested PFSA. All right. Again, PFSA is one of those stocks where it really needs to break the pennant, ladies and gentlemen. Just needs to break that pennant right there for it to be somewhat interesting to me. Put this right over here. Alright, but as of now, needs to break the pennant, needs to break above the VWAP. Alright, so that's what we got going on right there. PFSA needs to break the VWAP and the... Alright, needs to break the pennant and the VWAP. Pennant and the VWAP at $10.16 right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. That's PFSA. Has to break above that $10.16 mark. Otherwise, it's not really interesting to me. So we got that going on right there. Let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 800. 800, 800, 800. Let's get to 800, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Come on now. Yes, sir. Let's get to 800. Alright, alright. Alrighty. Alright. So, that's what we got going on right there. Alright. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Alright. Now, someone requested TRUG again, so we're going to take a look at TRUG. But let me take a look at BIAF firstly. BIAF, see how it's doing. BIAF pulled back down. It had nice movement, but then pulled back down below the VWAP. Alright, BIAF needs to break the downtrend right there. BIAF needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at 55 cents for it to be so much schmexy to me. BIAF, no, no, no. Alright, TRUG. TRUG is the next one that we're going to take a look at. TRUG. Still on the downtrend right there. Needs to break above the downtrend and needs to break above $2.07, which is where the VWAP is right there. That is TRUG. TRUG needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP at $2.07. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Alright. Someone requested WETO. WETO. WETO is curling slightly off the descending wedge right now. Curling slightly off the descending wedge. It is currently a little bit expensive still. It's still expensive, but it is moving and curling off that wedge right there. It's curling off that descending wedge right there. That's beautiful right there. Alright, WETO, WETO. Curling off the descending wedge. Alright, let's actually get some support and resistance lines for the stock right here. Alright. Curling off the descending wedge right there. Alright. As of now, needs to break above the resistance. Needs to break the resistance line at $45.96 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right, all right. All right. SLE. SLE. Let's take a look over here. SLE is on the uptrend right now. Has news. Currently up 93%. Super League Enterprise shares are trading higher after the company announced a definitive agreement for MetaPlanet to contribute 2,100 Bitcoin. So that's quite a lot of money. All right, so let's see over here. On the uptrend right there. Despite the fact that Bitcoin is going down, yep, that is quite a sizable amount of change there. All right, so SLE, SLE. SLE on the uptrend, up 92%, 92%. Needs volume to break above the resistance line, actually the high of day, excuse me, the high of day at $6.16. The high of day at $6.16 for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let's see how XOS is holding up. XOS pulled back down a little bit there. Pulled back down. Has to hold above that VWAP. Not looking schmexy as of now. Alright, alright, alright. Still needs to break the descending wedge right there. XOS. XOS needs to hold above $4.60. Needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAP at $5.38. There we go. Now let's take a look at SLE. SLE, how's it doing? SLE hit 99%, but needs to break that high of $6.16. SLE hit 99%. Needs to break the high of day at $6.16. Right there. Alright, WEAV, WEAV. Alright, price spike on this one. WEAV has a 68 million float, 118,000 volume, so it's a price spike on low volume. Weave Communications shares are trading higher after the company announced it will be acquired by Francisco Partners. So this is an acquisition play, ladies and gentlemen. WEAV, WEAV. Alright, price spike on very low volume and heavy float. Acquisition play. Alright, that's WEAV. Not schmexy to meow. Not schmexy to meow. Alright. Alright. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1100. 1100, 1100, 1100. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. We're just about 15 minutes away from the bell. The bell! It deafens me. Ah. All right. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our free Discord where we got all sorts of Discord exclusive live streams, as well as Discord exclusive occasional picks, as well as free Discord exclusive reviews on the stonks. So we got that going on right there, so be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. The link to get that is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check it, because that is the free Discord. It gives you a taste of what we got in the premium Discord. It's like a little sample. You know, it's like one of those Costco samples. That's basically what it is, right? But if you want the full package, get the 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99 by clicking the link in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we've got a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell ya. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our merch, where we got all sorts of cool stuff, from t-shirts to hoodies to lids to cup and handles, aka mugs. We also got wonderful things like, for example, we have the mouse pads, we have stickers, we have tumblers. We got all sorts of cool stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check it out. Be sure to check it out on our merch store. Link is in the description there, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check it out. But yeah, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? I'm just looking through stuff here. Give me 1 second. There we are. Someone requested XOS once again. XOS. All right. All right. Now, XOS still consolidated along the $4.60 line right there. Needs to really break above it. All right. XOS still consolidated below. All right. Still consolidated around the $4.55 line right there. Needs to break above it, and the high a day at $5.38 for it to be somewhat interesting to Mya. MJ on Twitter asks for ALP, I think. Hold on, let me read it real quick. What did he say? You can check the ALP stock, I think is what he said. Something like that. Well, hold on just a second. We'll take a look at SLE, and then we'll take a look at ALP. SLE just hit 121, 121% right there. Boom, baby. There we go. SLE. SLE. There we go, baby. There we go. SLE was called on the private Discord a couple times, actually. Alright, so the first time it was called was actually on Friday. We called, alright, SLE, we called this stock since Friday, as well as yesterday. And this morning at 4:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, prior to its run, up 125% right there, 125%. There we go. Whew. There we are. Needs volume to break the high day at 704. Another bagger, baby. Woo! Right there. That's SLE, SLE. There we go. That's another banger right there. Another bagger. All right, all right, all right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, all right, all right. There we go. There we go. Hold on. There we are. Yes, sir. All right. Now, XOS looks like it also formed a bit of a resistance at the, hold on, $6.83 mark right there. Looks like it formed a bit of a resistance at $6.81 actually. That's more like it. All right. So, SLE needs volume. SLE formed a little resistance line at $6.81. Needs volume to break it, and the higher day at $7.04 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go. There we go. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. All right. Let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1400. 1400, 1400, 1400. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. You already know. You already know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1500. 1500, 1500, 1500. All right. Let's see here. All right. Someone requested TRUG again. TRUG. TRUG. Let's take a look over here. Needs to break that downtrend right there still. TRUG. TRUG needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA at $2.07. All right. There we are. All right. WFF. Someone requested WFF. Let's take a look at WFF. WFF looks to be curling off the downtrend. Ladies and gentlemen, looks to be curling off the downtrend. All right, which is good, but it needs to break above $2.58, which is where the VWAP is for it to be somewhat maxi to meow. WFF curling off the downtrend, needs volume to break the VWAP at $2.58 right there. $2.58. We were just 5 minutes away from the bell, ladies and gentlemen. 5 minutes away from the bell, ladies and gents. That's what we got going on right there. All right, all right, all right. So, as of now, let's take a look here. What's XOS doing? XOS still consolidated. XOS still consolidated. Meh. Still consolidated. Not schmexy. Not schmexy to meow. Alright. Let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 1600. 1600. Hold on. Alright, so, as of now, let's see what else we have here. What other stonks do we got going on? Let's see. Oh, yes, MJ wanted us to take a look at ALP. ALP. Choppy. No. Alright, so choppy price actions here. Choppy price action here. Here for sure. Here. And here. There too. Alright, so ALP as of now down 2%, has unconfirmed H1 earnings due in 14 days from now on September 1st before the market opened. This is, I believe, a British Virgin Islands stock right here. So honestly, this stock is not too schmexy. Very, very choppy. Very, very low volume. A lot of indecisive wicks with this stock. Not particularly schmexy to meow. So hold on. Alright, so let's start off here. ALP needs to break the... actually, ALP doesn't need to break anything. It just needs a lot of volume. Very low volume. Choppy needs to break. Choppy price action and indecisive wicks. Very needs a lot of volume. Alright, so as of now, that's what we got going on for ALP. ALP, not particularly schmexy to me. Alright, Khalil asked for WFF. Let's take a look. Alright, he says WFF 14. As of now, WFF is curling, but it's not even close enough to become anywhere near $14 or anything else right there. It's above 14%, if that's what you mean, but $14 that's a ways away. That is many ways away. First things first, it really needs to break above that VWAP at $2.58 before it can even get to anywhere near 14% right there. Excuse me, $14. So we'll see what happens there. WFF needs volume to break the resistance line, and it needs to break the VWAP, really. It needs to break the VWAP at $2.58. $2.58 for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Alright. Alright, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go.
The bail.
Yep, it's time for the bail. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for me. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different. And the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cash order, the big bucks, I tell you. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on our YouTube channel at CoachNickMoney. At CoachNickMoney, where we do lots of live streaming, stock reviews, stock analysis, etc. You can find us on our X.com, aka Twitter, at CoachNickMoney. Twitch at CoachNickMoney. Facebook at CoachNickMoney. Instagram and Threads at CoachNickMoney. As well as TikTok, Tiki-Taki, aka the Tac. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBL NICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. Money. All right, so you got that going on right there. All right, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us doing all that. All right. Also, be sure to stay tuned for 1:30 p.m. for the Power Play show hosted by the legend himself, Coach Nick Money, as he traverses the stock market prior to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. What he likes to do is he likes to basically go into the stock market, find all the wonderful, beautiful stonks that are being looked at there, and what he likes to do before Power Hours, he likes to give his honest review and analysis on each and every stock. He likes to basically keep an eye on them, give his honest review and analysis on it, and then basically what he does is he just sits there, lets it simmer on high heat with a little bit of paprika, a little bit of sazon, a little bit of cumin, a little bit of turmeric, all that beautiful good stuff right there. All right, needs to really hold on one second. Ooh, there we go. Needs to really do that right there. Hold on, but yes. The Coachmeister General basically lets it simmer on high heat with a little bit of paprika, some sazon, a little turmeric, a little cumin, a little bit of tagine right there, a little bit of tagine. All right, and when I say tagine, speaking of tagine, they're doing some sort of collaboration with Taco Bell. Anyways, but yes, that's a thing actually. But as of now, yeah, needs to really do that right there. Needs to simmer on high heat right there. And what he likes to do while he's doing that is get some dubs for the community, ladies and gentlemen. Likes to secure some dubs for the community in Fortnite prior to the Power Hour. Alright, that's what he likes to do right there. That's what he likes to do. But sometimes, on occasion, there are times where he does like to do a Discord exclusive stream. So again, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check that out by joining the free Discord to see the Discord exclusive live stream here. The link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. All right, and when you join the free Discord, you get access to the Discord exclusive live stream when it comes on. You get access to the wonderful little occasional picks that we got going on there, as well as the reviews. So you get all that and more just by clicking that link to join the Discord and get the free roll. The free roll, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you got going on right there. All right. So, quickly before we wrap up, if you guys have been watching and you're serious about trading small caps, don't just sit on the outside trying to piece it together. We've got a 4-day full access pass for only $9.99, and it's full access, ladies and gentlemen. You come inside, you get to see how we actually operate live. You get to see how we structure trade ideas, how we map levels, how we think about risk, how we handle momentum. You get access to the next day early watch list, as well as 24/7 market news flow, which is shown on the right-hand side of this screen right here. And you get access to that for all 24 hours of the day, plus hyperlinks, so you can basically have all that information at the touch of a button. You get pre-market, regular hours, and after-hours scanners with float, volume, catalyst, context, and hyperlinks built right in, so you can basically do all the due diligence you want with just a touch of a button. All right, and of course, you get access to our ticker tape built to catch stocks just when they're starting to heat up, but before they go parabolic, because, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't noise, it's structure. All right, and if that's how you want to approach this market, grab the 4-day pass and come see it live. The link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. When you come in, let us know you saw us on the stream. We'd love to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's pretty much it from me. Much love. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. I'll see you guys at 1:30 p.m. for Power Play. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. Happy Taco Tuesday, and peace out.